I'm working with our CEO to make sure that Yeren is safe and prepared. We're all action stations here getting ready. Aboriginal people are much more susceptible to getting seriously ill when a virus like this comes through. We saw in 2009 with the swine flu epidemic that Aboriginal people were overrepresented. They were more likely to go to hospital, and in fact ICU admissions for Aboriginal people were 8 times more likely than other Australians. So this is to do with, I guess, the burden of chronic illness in that population, so things like heart disease, diabetes, emphysema, higher smoking rates. So all of that stuff means that they're quite a vulnerable population, and also we know that there tends to be some overcrowding and other social issues that help the virus spread more rapidly in these communities. We've put in some new protocols to change things up a bit, so we're doing a lot of things by telephone now. GPs are doing telehealth consults and not seeing so many people face to face unless we screen you with certain questions about having flu-like symptoms. And we're also looking at ways to get messages out to community about what's important, what's going on.
With the virus, it's the unknown of why people are so nervous about it. So as a community, we'll go through this virus and the pandemic and we'll come out the other side. But while it's happening, we just need to show respect for each other and just listen to the facts, because I think that's what creates hysteria. We've seen the panic buying, we've seen the hoarding that's going on. All those, for us as Aboriginal people, that's not what we're about. We're about a giving and caring community, and the quicker we can just sit back and relax a little bit. We're sure everybody's feeling a little bit panicked, but at the moment, we've got some really good people out there doing some really good stuff to make sure our community's safe.
And a lot of people are nervous about what's going on. And if you start to feel a little bit of a scratchy throat or develop a cough, it's worth reaching out to your local GP or to the Aboriginal Medical Service to have a chat with the GP about whether we need to think about testing you. But more importantly, as soon as you feel any of those symptoms, you just must stay at home, stay in isolation, and also the practical things about thinking, how will I keep my family living with me safe from this virus? So if we start thinking about if we're infected ourselves, how do we stop that from spreading through the house? And sometimes those houses are busy and crowded and small. What can I do myself to slow that virus from spreading? So that means washing your hands a lot. It means cleaning all those hard surfaces down multiple times a day, doorknobs, covering your mouth when you cough, all of those practical tips, but also planning ahead to see if you've got one spare bedroom, can that sick person stay in there, perhaps with access to one bathroom if possible. A lot of our families don't have that, so do we look at setting up a tent in the front yard or a swag somewhere, just so that we can stay close to family but keep that virus away from the vulnerable members in your family?
I think one of the most practical tips I can give anybody at the moment with the way the virus is going is actually listen to the experts, so to make sure there's some really good social media messaging that's happening from Belinda and her staff at Yeren Aboriginal Health Services. They're the people at the coalface who are dealing with the virus itself. I know what I've been doing. I've been FaceTiming my grandkids and talking to them rather than going around and exposing myself to them. It's about ringing up and keeping those contacts going, using the social media to our advantage. One of the ways that you can stay connected to country is, as I just said before, is that listen, watch and learn from some of the social media stuff that Yeren's putting out at the moment. You're on Darkinjung country. We've got a record for being a very strong community, and if we stay strong, we'll get through this virus pandemic.
In particular, Aboriginal people are very used to organising themselves as one mob, and you look after each other. All Australians can learn from that. If we can think, instead of I'm so scared, how am I not going to get this virus? Instead of thinking, you can say, well, how am I going to protect my loved one, my neighbour? How am I going to do the right thing? Follow all the expert advice, stay at home, and stop that spread of the virus through community.